Take three, hit it.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Michelle Baker I'm a fractional CMO with Baker Co. Enterprises. And I'm going to talk to you today about the secret to crafting an offer that customers love and buy. So the secret is positioning um, and going through a positioning exercise. So the reason why I decided to talk with you all about this is because as I told you a little bit earlier, I decided to go back into business for myself and I was really excited about it. So I just like started writing, the copy for my website and jumping into doing everything, getting everything set up. And then it dawned on me that I hadn't even done positioning, which is what I recommend to everybody else. So I understand that many entrepreneurs and business people can start working on their businesses and they get excited about it and they kind of forget to go through some kind of a little bit of a hard work, like hard mental work to do the proper positioning to make sure that their messaging is really going to resonate with their customers or potential customers. So positioning helps you again with your messaging and making sure that it resonates with your customers, sets you apart from the competition. It prevents wasted ad spend, and it also can supercharge your sales. So this is a positioning process that can y'all see my screen still? Okay.
Yeah, you're in slide mode, but I wouldn't risk changing it.
Yeah, I think I wasn't able to see y'all when I did that before, so that's why I didn't know you weren't there. So I'm going to leave it like this. But anyway, so this is a positioning process that a lady that I follow named April Dunford has put together. She calls herself the best positioning or expert in the world on B2B SaaS companies. And she's amazing. And so I've read both of her books on one on positioning and one on the sales pitch. And this is the process that she recommends that you follow. So, and then this is my positioning canvas for my company that I did after I, kind of like slapped myself in the face. Was like, what are you doing? You need to do your own sales pitch or sales position or positioning. So I filled this out for my own company. I'm not going to get into all of the details of this right at this moment. We're just going to hit a few highlights in this very short presentation. Um, but this is an example of a canvas that I would work through with a company, when I was helping them with their positioning. So one of the first questions that you can ask yourself is, and I encourage you all to think about your own businesses and, have you answered all of these questions fully adequately for what your business is? So I'll give examples from my business, but if you can think about your own business and, there's any gaps in think about that and make a note. So the market segment like that I would be in would be like fractional executives, interim executives, temporary executives, or contractors. For on the bus services, just as another example, I was thinking that through, there's multiple market segments, communities, networking organizations, virtual trade shows, coaching. So there's multiple market segments that you can be competing in, for on the bus. So what would a customer use if they don't use your products or services? This is a lot of times I think as business owners, we're just like, hey, we have this great service. Here it is. Like you need it, buy it or whatever. But you don't necessarily always take the time to think about the competitor and what they might use if they don't use your product or service. And sometimes it's pretty obvious, like hiring another, in my case, like someone might hire a full service marketing agency or they might hire a full-time tactical marketer or multiple specialists, or they might use virtual assistants. But then a lot of people don't think about the option of they might do nothing. They might not have any marketing, or they might still continue to do it themselves. So you just need to make sure that when you're doing your marketing that you address each one of those competitors, competitive situations, figure out, in the sales call, like who your true competitors are with that particular customer, and then address those issues that they would have. Then next, you need to think about how you're different or you're better than the alternatives or the competitors. So I wrote the alternatives over here, and then over here I wrote down like for each one of those, like how am I, is my fractional CMO service better or different than each one of those alternatives? And I'm not going to read all those because one, Mike won't like it if I read if I read a PowerPoint. But anyway, and we don't have much time. But so this is an example, though, of a slide deck from my own pitch deck. And you can see where I've talked about my unique value, that I'm a partner with my clients. I own the results. A fractional CMO helps take the worry off of the owner's shoulders. And then I get into some specifics over down here where, about me, like there's the differentiated value between like all fractional CMOs offer certain services and those competitive differences, like between a marketing agency or a virtual assistant or whatever. But then each fractional CMO within our industry, like we have our own competitive, differences that we need to compete against each other. So, mine are that I'm an avid learner. I listen to podcasts every day on marketing. I also can do tactical ability. Like some people don't, some marketers and CMOs don't actually do the work, any work. They just do leadership only. So I have the capability to do both. And then I also have public relations in my background. So, if a company needs help, like getting the word out about their business and they're particularly would be a good candidate for public relations, then that's something that I could help them with. Whereas maybe another CMO doesn't have that, and so they couldn't. But anyway, those are some examples of my differentiated value. And then you need to ask yourself, the next question is, why does it matter to the client? So you're different and unique, but what's the value that that provides to your client? So it's really like taking it a step further, like not only, how you're different and why you're better, but what value does it provide to your customer? So, and I think that, I think I'm going to jump this slide up here really quick here. So, as far as like, say, an example of what does a fractional CMO provide that's valuable, they're going to help you get more efficient ad spend, increase your profitability, give the business owner more freedom, make faster progress towards your goals, make more clear decisions because you're going to be using a data-driven approach. So, those are a number of things, but, in a nutshell, if you look down at the bottom here, it's helping companies save money and close deals faster. So we highlight that in yellow. And then one other question that you need to ask yourself is, who really cares about the unique value that you bring? So you can look at generally, like for a fractional CMO, the companies, in a growth mode that are shifting from a small to a medium-sized business, like that would be who would need a fractional CMO. It could be a private equity companies. They need to see predictable growth, in a company. And so they need more than just the standard marketing efforts. Or like buyers in an exit who want to see processes and structures in place. So that's what a fractional CMO can help with as well. And then I wanted to, this is kind of reiterating what I already said, but basically you want to think about your unique differentiators, like get more specific, even like there's the difference again between me and other fractional CMOs, the general difference between a fractional CMO and an agency, but then the difference between me and other fractional CMOs, So get a little more granular and then you can find your market, you can find who really cares about that. Like, so who really cares that I have public relations experience in my background, And so that's what you need to ask for your business as well. Like, who really cares about your unique qualities? And then finally, just wanted to talk about this, that typically it's really good to have proof that you are better and, proof that that particular audience needs to see so that, they will feel confident that you know what you're talking about. And that can be testimonials, it could be statistics and data points, could be case studies, awards, anything like that. And one note that I wanted to make here for y'all is that, a lot of companies, and I've had a lot of business owners in the past say this to me, like, they're like, hey, like, we've got the best customer service in the world. Like, and I'm like, well, so what? Like, everybody says that, prove it. Like, so you have to come up with, like, how can you prove that you have the best customer service in the world? So that's where like a data point might come in mind, where you could say, we return our calls for our company in under 5 minutes, or, we have a 24-hour turnaround guaranteed. So some sort of data point then can back up why you're the best is really helpful. And then finally, I wanted to just end with customers' pain points. That's really important to make sure that you really understand your customers' pain points. If that's really the core of marketing, I think, just someone asked me once, like, what's your philosophy of marketing? And I was like, really, it was off the cuff. I didn't expect it. And I was like, at the core, it's about the customer, making sure you know who they are and what they need, and what's important to them. And so I'd like to encourage y'all to take extra time and make sure you really understand your customers. But the other thing is that you also have to think about, like, how do you know those things? So you can do interviews with your customers with a handful of people and find out like what they care about. And that's powerful, and that will usually give you directional information. But you can also have like squeaky wheels. You can have a customer that's, I really need this new product or new feature, and you're not doing this, and I really want that. And then you like cater your whole business to this squeaky wheel, who's demanding something. But if you'll take it a step further and do quantitative research, like a survey among those people, then you can tell like the volume of need that there is out there, and then you can prioritize your features that you offer, your new features. So then I just like to end with this. This is a example from my pitch deck, and this is I this is my common problems facing today's business owners that I go over when I do a sales pitch to someone. And I read this to somebody not too long ago, and it's lacking strategy. Are you lacking strategy? Do you have low funding? Do you need leadership? Are you doing everything yourself? Or is it too expensive to hire high level leadership? Is there no time for KPIs and tracking metrics in your company? And they said, yes, like I can relate to every single one of those things, and sure enough, they became a client of mine. So my positioning exercise paid off. So anyway, I just want to again just take it back to you and ask you, have you answered these questions for your business in a methodical way? Have you sat down, filled out a positioning canvas, and really thought it through? And could your marketing be more powerful if you take the time to do that? So that's it.
So who do you want to work with? Who are your dream clients?
Yeah, so really clients that have probably, revenue wise, they're probably between 1 and 20 million. It could go up to potentially 50 million in revenue. Typically, it's going to be businesses that are in a growth mode, and it's like they're in a special spot. I don't know if it's their sweet spot. It's actually called the danger zone, I think. But they're kind of to a point where they're hiring out. Maybe they've hired a couple of marketing specialists. Maybe they're using VAs or a couple of agencies, but the business owner is running all of the marketing, and they're just exhausted from trying to run everything and micromanage everything in the company, and they're ready to take that step back and hand it over to somebody that they can trust.
But is there an industry or a niche of some type?
Yeah, so I have a very broad background in a lot of different industries, both B2B and B2C. But I did spend 2.5 years at a SaaS company, a clinical research software company. And so I really understand like that special, unique business model and how it works and how all the collaboration has to happen between all the departments and, the challenges that we face in that industry. That said, I am very like experienced in other industries as well. So I'm also looking at healthcare, because I've done quite a bit of business with like massage therapists, chair massage company, chiropractor, and healthcare related companies. So those are two areas that I would focus on, even though I'm not limiting myself to to those.
Very good. Any other questions? All right, we'll wrap it up. Michelle, thank you very much.
You're welcome.